Video E4.p2-30 is the video that you're currently watching, which is Activity 9, Why Winds Whirl Worldwide. Okay, again, dealing with the learning targets for this E4.p2-I, we're going to start to talk about the major wind belts and what causes them to actually move. So we're going to talk about, more or less density of air throughout this lab. But there are some other things that will come up in as well. All right. The first thing is you're going to want to start to gather materials for myself and Mr. Fuzak for this lab. The materials that you're going to be in need of are listed right here. The materials are, you're going to need a balloon. We are going to provide you with long balloons instead of rounded ones. The second is you're going to need string or fishing line. We'll probably have both available, but I know at this point we have a decent amount of fishing lines, so we may just use that. We'll try both out. And then clear tape for attachment, and then the chairs are optional, and here's the reason why chairs are optional. You're going to have to, in the diagram that you're going to see here below, you're going to have to attach the string, 5 meters in string or fishing line, from one chair to another to create this diagram that you see right here with this girl for this lab itself, okay? So chairs might work real well. You might be able to have one person in your group or another person hold on to it while you tape it or attach it to something else like a chair, the wall, door handle, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, you can choose the setup. This, having done the lab myself, the chairs work the best because the chairs don't move. Your hand's not jiggling around, or the body isn't. You're not looking around. The chairs are just stable as long as they're obviously not in the walking areas around your particular area that you're working in. Okay. So just an idea. Once you've gathered the lab materials, what you'll do is you'll begin by reading the background information and then answering the pre-lab questions in the space below. The background information is found right there on the very first page, Why Winds Whirl Worldwide. Just some brief information regarding different types of winds and the speed in which winds are actually traveling. You can see the fast fact here about winds. And anemometer, in case you're not familiar with, is a tool used to measure wind speed. If you've ever driven on 131 and you are near the auto place, right by 100th Ave, basically where you turn to go to Holland, or you continue to go past and go to Caledonia. There's a little bridge next to that big trader place for cars, and on that bridge is an anemometer and a number of other devices that are used to measure wind speed and temperature, and I think they also have a moisture device there as well to measure the moisture content in the air, but don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, there's one example of where you can see an anemometer. If you drive past the Tulip City Airport, they also have an anemometer outside as well, but you have to get close to the place in which you are loading the airplanes in order to see it. When you're driving by the fences, you won't be able to see it. Okay, so background information is located there. Once you're reading through that information, you can then start to answer the lab questions, the pre-lab questions right here, questions 1, 2, and 3. Once you've answered the pre-lab questions, you're going to begin by reading the actual procedures. And the reason why you're going to read the procedures before starting it is just so you have a better sense about how to set up the lab, what you're going to do, what observations you're going to be looking for, and when you're going to make those observations, and also where you're going to record them and under what trial, because there are going to be 3 trials. So you write your observations and what you see take place in the space provided, trial 1, trial 2, and then on the following page, trial 3. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and start rereading the procedures and following along and actually completing trial 1, trial 2, and trial 3 as you go through the actual lab. Once you've completed your trials and observations for this particular lab, you'll then follow up and wrap up by answering the questions as you see listed right here in the questions and conclusion section. There are 3 of them. You may be able to use the space that's provided to answer the question. Most likely not. The reason why is you're looking for explanations about how and why things actually take place. So you're going to have to use quite a bit of detail to answer these particular questions, as well as the one that's listed up here above, number 1. So maybe a extra sheet of paper or computer paper, whatever it is that you may have available to you, would be your best avenue for that. All right. So while doing the lab, after the lab, while you're answering the questions, don't hesitate to ask myself or Mr. Fuzak for anything that you may need.